Welcome. My name is Doug Simcox, and I'm here with my co-host today, Mr. Sam Swearingen. Now, Sam and I are riding for the brand BTC, Beyond the Chutes. Today, Sam and I are going to catch up, discuss some current events and some upcoming rodeos, PBR events that you're going to want to check out. So Sam is with us today, and he is a two-time North America Rodeo Commission saddle bronc riding champion. He's a several-time IFYR qualifier, International Finals Rodeo qualifier, several times APRA champion, and he has been a rodeo stock contractor as well, just selling out of the rodeo business, what, Sam, about 3 years ago?
Yes, thank the Lord, right before COVID hit.
Right before COVID hit. And you were in the business, what, about 30 years?
Yeah, right at 30 years.
Yeah. And IPRA, APRA, PRCA, all these different associations, and high school rodeo as well.
Yes, when I was riding, I always said, why not have every card you can and don't drive by one? Mm-hmm. What it costs to get there. And I kind of did the same thing in the rodeo business. I had every card that I could get that made sense and could work everything, but I think I enjoyed the high school stuff more than anything.
I think so. Lots of talent coming up through, and I love being able to be part of those grassroots, if you will. You know, we saw a lot of champions come through the arena over the years in the high school side, and they came up, and we saw them in the professional level too, Sam.
Yeah, and that was what I enjoyed about it the most. You know, you see them from when they were 6th and 7th grade and mature and come on, and some of them become high school national champions, and it was just a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, absolutely. And there's still several out there in the pro ranks that are still rodeoing. And what's interesting about Sam is not only was he a stock contractor, not only was he a great rodeo competitor, but I think Sam, and you can speak a little bit to this, I think also mentor, coach, and a great fan of the sport of rodeo or bull riding. Is that a fair statement to make?
Yeah. As I got older, I started really looking at and breaking down things for riders, and could try to figure out what would be the best way. And if you were willing to learn and put the effort in, I was willing to try to help you better yourself.
Absolutely. And again, a lot of those cowboys and cowgirls that have come up through the ranks have benefited from your coaching, your mentorship. Now, speaking of rodeo, Cowboy Christmas, now they say it's only 7 days. When I announced rodeos, I said, Sam, that it started at Ellicottville on the July 4th weekend, and I said in the Northeast at least that it ran through Benton, Pennsylvania. So I gave it 3 weeks. The PRCA only gives it 7 days. But I always liked, for us, it felt like a really busy, pretty cool part of the season, kicking off in Ellicottville, New York, and running through Benton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and running is the key word. There was a lot of running in between there, and I sold some horses up in Canada last week, and I took them to Watertown, New York, and I thought, wow, I remember when we went from here Wednesday down to Benton Thursday, and thank God I don't have to do that anymore. And the stress and getting everything loaded up and the arena, and it was just a lot of run.
A lot of miles, a lot of late night driving.
Yeah.
And when we talk about Cowboy Christmas, I just found this out on the PRCA website. Tie down roper Ty Harris from San Angelo, Texas. He cashed in, they said, at 6 of 8 rodeos that he competed in, and he earned $40,000 over the 7 days of competition, which broke the timed event, single event, and overall earnings record set by Trevor Brazil in 2011. $40,000, Sam, in 7 days.
And records like that, I think, will be broken here quite consistently
Okay.
because the prize money's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody's just got to get on a hot streak when the prize money gets better. And it sounds like Ty Harris did. And that's wonderful that you can win that kind of money in 7 days.
Isn't that crazy? Absolutely. And they said the big money, a large part of the money, 18,000 of it came from the Pinoca Stampede. So big money to your point. You cash in at a couple of these big ones, and yeah, I agree with you. I think the records are going to continue to be broken. I think the numbers continue to get bigger.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of this. You look at it. When I was riding, the guys like me now, the old timers, they said, "Wow, wish we could ride for that."
Yeah.
And now I'm looking at what they're riding at now and doing, and the different setups, and more of the different setups. I wish I could have rode at because they have such great animals everywhere.
Yeah.
When I looked at Calgary, you stay there 3 days in a row and get on some of the best horses there ever was. And that opportunity is just incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. So you talk about the setups, and these big rodeos, whether it's Cheyenne or Calgary or whatever, they've really changed their qualifying format. Used to be if a fella or a cowgirl was out there and they run certain times, it was all based on their aggregate. So in other words, if I go out and I run 3 quick times, I may go into the finals. Here, it's more of a qualifier round situation where I've got to beat the folks that are in my round to advance. What do you think of these qualifiers we're seeing? We saw it at Calgary. We've seen it. It's in process right now in Cheyenne. What are you thinking?
I really like it. Now the weather isn't a factor in the timed events, or the rough stock. It make it if it gets slick, like when I watched Calgary last night for the barrel racing. The horses were very timid going into it. Mm-hmm. They were, a half a second off the other times. So now these girls got a chance to come back the next on the weekend for the qualifier for the big money, and they're not taken completely out of it. And the Bronx, if they slip or whatever, it gives them a good opportunity a fair opportunity to come back. The weather hasn't changed the outcome.
I'll be darned. And I hadn't thought about that, but that makes perfect sense to me. And do you know how the competitors are taking to these new formats? Are they seeing through it logically like you are?
Oh, I think some really like it and some don't. Colton didn't go to Cheyenne. The whole truck decided not to go because of if they did make it back, they had to come back Friday or Saturday. And then it would hold. They had to miss other big rodeos to do it. It kind of holds you there at the event. You can go in between, but then you've also got to be ready to come back if you did well.
Yeah.
And if you didn't do well, did you not enter these other rodeos and not go? Or if you did, you got to enter these other rodeos and pay the turnout fines and all that. So and it's like life, there's decisions you have to make, good or bad. They're good problems. When Daylon first started doing well, the decisions, even when he was still in high school, okay, do we go here? We go there. We'd sit down and talk about it over the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
These are good problems, but now you got opportunities that you didn't have before. So it's like anything in business or in life, you make a decision and you run with it.
You bet. And these competitors, these top caliber competitors, this is a business. This is how they're making a living. We've talked about the amount of money it takes before you leave the house, entry fees and airline tickets and all that sort of thing. You better run it like a business or you're not going to last financially out there.
Isn't that the truth?
Takes a lot of money to
Oh,
run, right?
it's a lot of money, and you look at what they're riding at, and you think, oh, this is great, but the expenses and everything you're doing to get there, they're not making much money
Yeah,
unless they're really knocking them out.
yeah, yeah.
But at least they can now.
And
If they knock them out, they can. You
absolutely,
know,
absolutely. Hey, and shifting gears just a little bit, we want to say thank you to ParaSight Systems for their support with our podcast. We haven't talked a bunch about what they really do, Sam. They're actually in the medical device business, and they work directly with veterinarians across the United States, typically large animals because they take care of horses, cattle, goats, sheep, and chickens. But they have also got now a new system that's just coming out that's for dogs and cats, for our companion animals. So while you can go online at ParasightSystems.com and send in your fecal samples from your horses, from your cattle, your goats, etc., they will test. They'll run the program. They'll send you back the results. They'll give you the opportunity to have really precise, so you know what you're targeting, what your animals are carrying for parasites, and move towards eradicating those parasites. And you might want to check to your vet with your vet practice, with your veterinary that you're working with, see if they have it. And if not, suggest they give ParaSight Systems a call. So love to have them on board, Sam. We've talked a lot about it. You've got horses, of course. You got a lot of feeder cattle on site. You got cow-calf operation. I think we have some opportunities here to put ParaSight Systems to work.
I'm just so intrigued with this. It's what they can pinpoint it down to.
Yeah.
And if my plan comes together with my new project, I will buy one of those machines myself and have it on site.
Okay, because you're going to you got high volume.
Well, I will have if everything comes together.
Yeah.
But in the new business that I may be dabbling in,
right.
It won't be dabbling. It'll be big.
You'll be
It'll be a lot of numbers.
Absolutely. And when we're talking about controlling the health of our animals, it's all about, this is what it's about. How quickly can we put weight gain on the animals, right? If we're talking cattle, goats, sheep, chickens, whatever, how quickly can we put the weight gain on them? How efficiently can we do that? That's the business, isn't it, Sam? Raise them as quick and put weight on them as quick as we can?
And that's in the feeder cattle business and the cow-calf operation. Now in the horse and the pleasure horse business.
Yeah.
The cost of feed is so much. And do you want to feed the parasites or do you want to feed your animal?
I like that.
And
Yeah.
For me, I'd rather feed the animal than the parasites.
Okay. Do you want to feed the animal, or you want to feed your horse, or you want to feed its worms? I think we can get that on a T-shirt. What do you think? Another put it in our store.
I'd wear it.
You don't think you'd wear it?
I don't think I'd wear it. Do you want to feed the worms?
I don't know. It could raise some pretty cool conversations. And but anyway, visit them at ParasightSystems.com. They've got a cool video that steps through the whole process up there. So Eric and his crew doing a great job. They're based in Lexington, Kentucky, right smack dab in the middle of thoroughbred racehorse country. So they're doing a great job out there. So shifting gears yet again, Sam. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Kane Smith. Now, this is your niece's Jody's son, 7 years of age. And you want to share just a little bit about Moya? Is that what it is?
Well, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I might get sappy because that's what I am. But when I heard what he had, because I can't pronounce it, Moya is what I kind of say.
I think that's right. I think it's right.
And as soon as I found out, of course, I text Carrie, which is a registered nurse, my
Mm-hmm.
wife, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the most intelligent people I've been around. And then her brother is a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and I text him, and he he had never heard of it before, and it's just such a rare thing. He was actually called me back yesterday. I didn't hear from him for a while, and it was
Yeah.
very strange. I
Yeah.
thought, what the heck's going on? He texted me a little thing, and when I sent it to him, he thought I had it. He said, "Well, why do you think you got this?" And I
Right.
said,
Right.
"Oh no,
Oh.
it's not
Oh.
me."
Oh.
Uh, but he was over in Europe. He was went to Normandy and went to a concentration camp, and just was good time. But he called me from the airport, so we talked about it a little bit. But you know how hard it is to hear
Yeah.
somebody in the
Yeah.
airport. They got
Yeah.
things going on and all that.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it more later. He did just get back yesterday.
Yeah.
He's looked into it, and their family, Jody, is she is in the medical field.
Mm-hmm.
She's a doctor's physician or physician's assistant, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. So
Mm-hmm.
she is pretty high up in what, other than a doctor, she's there. But she works for a doctor that is, I think, a big, big back, and they do specialized stuff. So they know
Okay.
people in the specialized fields.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they have found a doctor in Fort Worth, I guess, that
Mm.
he said this is who I would take my kids to
I
if
see.
they had it.
I see.
And so in about a month they're going to operate, but it is, from what I know, it's kind of a newer procedure that they don't haven't done it a lot because
Mm-hmm.
it's such a rare disease. So
Yeah.
anyway, what a good kid. Let's get off that. What a good kid. He doesn't say boo
Mm-hmm.
and wants to work with you and do things all the time, and just good family. And I don't know. Just a good thing. People and things happen, and it'll be what the Lord wants it to be, and
Yeah.
we don't understand why.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
there's to our listeners, you can help. There's a GoFundMe page that's been set up. Matt Swearingen set that up, and I put these links in. Put the links in the description of the podcast, but you can find it. Kane, the Comeback Kid. They're looking to help defray some of these huge medical expenses that everybody is headed towards, that this family's headed towards. I mean, just the travel and logistics, Sam, of everything that has to happen. They were all in New York, and then had to get transported, of course, back home to Oklahoma, and then it's going to be a lot of challenges coming up. So to our listeners, please check that out. It's in our link, and there's an auction support on Facebook for Kane Smith. I put that link in there as well. There's everything from rigging bags to shaving kits to massages, cap guns. I mean, there is all kinds of stuff. There is a beautiful headstall and breast collar that has been put up. So stuff that's really cool, and it's always for a great cause. So when you look at this, look beyond the value of these things, these prizes, these services that are being offered. Some really neat donations have been made, all for a great cause. I put this in the link, so please check it out and reach in your pockets and assist if you can. Sam, this rodeo world is quite extended, and rodeo cowboys and cowgirls help one another.
yeah, it's amazing how people come together in times like this. And I haven't really looked at the option. I did get some text messages through when they were thinking about doing this and how they wanted to do it. And yeah, even I think Daylon, he put his vest up that
Oh, he did. He put a vest up.
from
Yeah.
the border patrol.
Oh, that is so cool. Absolutely.
If that's the case, it's probably the best he won the world with. So I'm going to try to bet on it, but hopefully it goes for way more than I'll pay for it.
Well, let me know where that is, Sam. Let me know where that is so we can let our listeners know. But there's a couple options out there, and that'd be great, to get a location of his vest. And, again, everybody's pitching in a whole bunch, so let's pitch in our dollars and give a hand to young Kane and family.
Yeah, and he also put up a day with Daylon, I think. Now, this was all stuff that came across. So
he put up a what?
A day.
Oh, a day with Daylon. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so whoever bids the most, he goes there or whatever and spends the day with him.
Oh,
so,
wonderful. Wow.
So if that's true, because it was coming up early on before everything took place. And
okay.
To get a day with him is because he's pretty busy.
He's pretty darn busy.
He's out on the farm. But
what a great opportunity to learn about the young man and about Daylon and hang out with someone pretty cool. So, yeah, if we can get the links for that, let's get them up for our listeners. So lots of options for you. Some cool things out there for everybody to check out. All right, let's switch gears yet again. We do that a lot on a catch-up. Let's talk a little bit about Hayden Pack, the pole bender, competing at her first National High School Finals. Her father Dale is a listener of the show, and he texted that she had qualified, so we got pretty interested. She had a good first run and kind of put her mid-pack, right? And after her first run, but she knocked over two poles in the second round, Sam. You know what happens when you do that in a field of 190 pole benders.
Yeah, doesn't everything have to be just aligned right to win something like that?
Oh, my.
And it's not just 190 pole benders.
Yeah.
They're the best from the best four from every state and every, Canadian province sends their best four, and Australia, New Zealand, Mexico, so it is, it's an honor to be there.
Absolutely.
One.
Yeah.
And two, if you don't, to win events like that, it's so tough because you have to draw it just right. And there again, the ground could take her out of it if it's raining that day because it's over the 10-day period.
Yeah. No, she did great. We had an opportunity. I talked with her last week after her second run. We posted that episode last week. So if you want to learn a little bit about Hayden Pack and the pole bender out of Brandenburg, Kentucky, as she competed at her very first National High School Finals Rodeo in Gillette, Wyoming. What a wonderful young lady to interview. She was really neat and learned a lot. And she's excited. Sam. She says she's going back. She's going to do it again. And next year, she said she's going to bring the heat.
Well, Dan's going to put out the money. She might have the horse and the heat already, but it's still expensive doing it.
It is. It is. So thank you, Mom and Dad, right? Thank you, Mom and Dad.
There you go. Yes. And to what it is, I didn't get to go to but one of the high school finals.
Yeah.
And it is an experience that one of the parents sent me on their kid how it did the video, and I said, well, enjoy it because this could be the best times you ever have. And he sent me a picture of her driving back saying, yes, this is the best times you could ever have.
You bet. You bet.
Money isn't an object when it's things like that. I'm just joking around, but you will burn up a credit card.
Yeah.
Remortgage a farm like I did to get a chance to go for all those years. So
absolutely.
Things are worth it.
Things are worth it. In your interviews, young folks, our high school rodeo cowboys and cowgirls do speak of your sponsors, and of course, those are Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Oh, and another notable, Sam, and you know a little bit about this family. Blaine Houston out of McBain, Michigan, places fifth in the bareback bronc riding in the aggregate, 221.5 on one, which is almost 74 points per his 3 rides.
Yeah, I know this young man a little bit, not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see him here in the next couple of weeks. Him and Eli travel together.
Oh, okay.
And, I thought he had a great shot of winning the whole thing. He rides that good.
Oh, wow.
But he had one horse that wasn't what he needed, and that's that's rodeo.
That's draw. Yeah,
not
absolutely.
saying anything bad or whatever. He had the talent that I thought he may win the whole deal.
Okay.
But it didn't work. But fifth out of everybody who's out there is incredible.
It's very neat.
Incredible.
And what year is he in high school? Do you know?
I think he's a senior.
This was his senior year. This was his final year.
I think so. Don't hold me to that. I'll find out for sure. But he's been around a little bit is the only reason why I think he's a senior.
I see. Okay. And speaking of McBain, Michigan, the Houston family, you got the Houston Cowcamp Rodeo 2023. That's going to be kicking off on Friday, September 1st. 7:30. We'll put a link in our description in our podcast. They've got looks like a brand new performance been added Saturday afternoon, September 2nd. Of course, there's Saturday night as well. Sunday night, the final performance at 7:30. You want to check that out. A neat place, Sam. You've been there?
I've been there once or twice. It was just starting up when I was finishing up. There was a rodeo in Sparta, Michigan in the afternoon, and you could go up there at night or vice versa. I think it was, you could go to Sparta in the afternoon and there at night. So we made that run, and just great people. You know, it was just starting. It was an outstanding rodeo then. So I imagine through the past 20 years, it's grown immensely. And I'd like to go back sometime because they're just good people and they take care of you. And I remember I flew in and they lost my saddle and I had to ride with somebody else's equipment that weekend. The whole weekend, I got it right back as the weekend was over. So it was an interesting weekend.
Yeah, and a great family, as you said, and a beautiful place up there. So check them out coming up Friday, September 1st. And then let's talk a little bit about the IFYR, the International Finals Youth Rodeo. That went on July 9th through the 14th. About 1,000 entries. And, Sam, they handed out about $320,000 in that event. The boys, Daylon and Colton, both have competed out there in the past, haven't they?
Yes, they have. They both went there several times, and even Colton towards the end, he wanted to go there and didn't care about going to the high school finals.
Really?
So
okay.
Yeah. Dale, you're again the president of the IFYR, and they do a great job. They seen that the youth is the start of your organization.
Yep. So
they really put some money into it and went deep into the youth. And now other associations are following suit. But they really started the trend of getting money for the kids.
Good.
And good payouts to them. Yep. And even like a horse trailer for the all around and things like that. It's just great. The kids can ride for that kind of money.
You bet. And Miss Danagan, who is secretary at a lot of your rodeos, Sam, I believe she's still the secretary for the IFYR. Always does a great job. Great rodeo family, the Gann family.
Yeah, she does an outstanding job. I haven't talked to her much this summer. Thought I'd go to Ellicottville and see her, but didn't get that. So I'll see her at Attica.
Oh, okay.
And,
she's working Attica.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
So she's still working most of the rodeos that I put on, and it works. She's just secretary wise, gets it all done. You don't have to look back and make sure everything's done right for you. You don't have to do her job. She does it, and you pay her, and away you go. And
You bet.
she does a fantastic job.
You bet. You bet. Always a pleasure to work with her. Absolutely. So let's shift gears again. Let's talk a little bit about how is Daylon? How's he doing? How is he feeling? And the reason I bring that up, we watched PBR team events. We're going to talk about that a little bit here in Cheyenne earlier this week. And the announcers were talking about his right hand and his groin. Any updates for us?
I talked to Daylon yesterday, and he was sitting at the airport. His plane was delayed going back to Texas. And I said, "How you doing?" "I'm good." "Oh, what's going on?" "I'm good."
Yeah.
Well, I said, "Well, is your hand sore?" "Yeah, it's a little sore." "Well, what about your groin?" "Yeah, that's sore." But yeah, he wouldn't, you got to pull it out of him like I don't know if he doesn't like to talk about it, or it makes him think about it, or what. But he is sore. He rode his first bull just incredibly well. Just bull didn't have his normal trip. It was actually turned back the opposite way of normal, and he flat in the middle and rode him just as good as you could ride one, spurred him around, and I mean, it was outstanding. And his next one wasn't any good at all. He jumped out there, the bull come around, and when he kicked, it threw him up against the fence, and his arm kind of hooked right over at the elbow, and he latched and clamped down on that. Whether it was a mental thing or he was sore or what, I don't know, but it just was not typical Daylon. So he's either hurting pretty good, or the body, just the mind took control of, oh, this is safety, and did something he can't even think about. So I don't know which one it was, but it was one of the two.
Well, let's send him some healing love for his hand and his groin for sure, and look forward to seeing him here in a bit. Now, last time we talked, we were headed towards the Calgary Stampede Sunday Finals. And we want to talk a little bit about that, Sam. He qualified. And what stood out for me was that there were 3 Carolina Cowboys in the finals. Now think of the odds of that. 3 Carolina Cowboys in the finals. Daylon, Josh Frost, Sage Kimsey. Pretty remarkable for one team in the PBR to have 3 out of, 12 Cowboys, I believe it is, make it to the finals. What do you think about that?
Well, the thing that stood out to me was those 3 guys rode all 3 of their bulls, and none of them made it back to the top 4.
Yeah.
Yep. And Calgary, their horses are just incredible.
Yeah.
And the bull power that they had there this year was less than par.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It just didn't make the sense. I think I know what they were doing. I think they tried to tone it down. Last year they only had 1 bull rode in the 12-man round.
Oh, okay.
And now this year I think they had 8 bulls rode in the 12-man round. So that tells you they were, in my mind, tells me they were trying to make it where they'd get those 4 in there. And in doing that, it took away from, well, right there's 3 arguably the best bull riders in the world, and none of them made it back. So congratulations to the guys that did.
Yeah.
I'm not putting down anything. I think there's going to have to be a happy medium. I think they had much better talent at Calgary this year, bull riders wise.
Yeah.
And it didn't work for their setup. So
right.
Yeah. But they'll get it figured out. They're smart people out there. They know better than I do.
You bet. You bet. And I did notice, even in the qualifying rounds, the pen and bulls seemed to be a bit uneven. Not all of them scored the same, if you will, on a score of 1 to 50. or you know what I'm saying, 1 to 25 for each judge. So that stood out for me just a little bit.
Yeah, and it's hard with that many people to have them real even.
Yeah.
If you got two animals, one's going to be better than the other.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's something that they're going to work on. I'd like to know what they were when they started leasing the bulls. If they said, let's not bring the very best you got. Let's bring middle of the herd. And I know when I tried to take stuff that wasn't top notch to some of those bigger events, that their holes came out.
Yeah.
Seen why they weren't top notch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool that, again, 3 Carolina Cowboys advanced to the finals. And to your point, all 3 of them rode. So excellent showing, excellent performance for the Carolina Cowboys, which says a lot, I think, and we're going to talk about this just a bit, says a lot for where I think our 2003 team events could be going. And definitely want to get on the Carolina Cowboys bandwagon, I think. Then Benton was July 11th through the 16th, the 38th annual Benton Rodeo. Stopped by there, Sam, we're sitting in New Hampshire right now, and a week ago stopped up and saw the Saturday night performance. So saw Dan and Mel and Pat and the whole crowd, Linda, all of them. Great to catch up with them. And I got to tell you, Saturday night show, it was packed and it was rocking. Really nice show. What a great crowd, Sam.
Benton Rodeo is one of my favorite stops. It was just good people around you, good crowds, and you see it build through the years to what it is now. And, to be a part of that, it makes me happy because they do an outstanding job. And, when you add on more bleachers every 10 years, you got to figure out what to do and how to do it. They don't stay stagnant. Also, their committee, they're getting a lot of young kids in there that are really, they're doing things through the week. They got the energy to do more events, and that brings youth in. They've got a big youth association that puts events on there once a month, and it's grown. When they first started doing it, I thought, hey, what the heck? And man, has it grown. It has taken off, and it'll make these kids in the Northeast just more competitive. Kids from up here go down there all the time, and then my nephew Kane and his family were down there competing in it. Like a week before he had the stroke. They were in town on gonna stay with their grandma and grandpa, and Jody went back to work, and they were there and competed in youth rodeo. So it's just a good thing.
You bet. And had some good talent working. Had Trent McFarland, the rodeo clown. We've worked with him quite a bit, Sam.
Trent's out of Alabama.
Yeah.
Travels around and does a great job. One of the clowns that has the most shined up acts that you'll want to see. Everything is right the way it should be.
You bet. And we've got an episode that's going to be coming out with Trent. So to our listeners, be on the lookout for that. And then the announcer was Ty Miller, Pennsylvania Cowboy, calf roper, team roper. Did a great job. Had you worked with him a bit, Sam, in the past?
Yeah, I've used him at a few events. He was just starting when I was starting to be done. He did some up in Maine for me, and very professional and very personable.
Yep. Yep.
Good job.
You bet. Got to hang out with them after the show. You know how that goes. 11:30 at night, you're sitting because everything's kind of winding down, but great to catch up with them and just see what's going on in the business of rodeo. You know, what shows they're working, where they're headed, what they're thinking. Always great to catch up with them. So just great fun. And, you know, got to hang out with Carol a little bit, runs the gate there behind the arena. Oh, yeah. She says hello, by the way. Great to see her. Great to see her. And just that whole committee, Sam, is just incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just, from top to bottom, it's just good people. Good people. Yeah. And do inventive things like they sell stock on the, just so many shares that let people in, and, just things that you wouldn't think of. Have a dinner in May usually that all their stockholders can come to and discuss how to change things and make it better or through that way. And then, of course, the mainstays in the rodeo just do it every month. But the stockholders can come in and express their opinions at a meeting. So
you bet. Good. You bet. Great grounds. Take care of the Cowboys, Cowgirls. Plenty of opportunity to park and plenty of space. You can check them out at bentonrodeo.com. I'll put that link in our description as well. And then, Sam, you already mentioned it, Attica, 65 years this year. August 3rd, they kick off Thursday night, 8 o'clock. You said you're going to be able to get up and check it out?
Yeah. I'll go up Saturday afternoon for sure. And Eli and Raymond and my nephew Kaul and another friend from Texas, his father rode broncs, was outstanding. And they're going to all be there Saturday afternoon, so I can go up and watch them then. And it should be good. And I'll probably go up more because Kenny said he's coming into town, so if he goes up, I'll have somebody to hang around with.
Oh, great. Be great to see him. Absolutely. And that Saturday afternoon starts at 1 o'clock per the schedule that I'm looking at. So lots of opportunity. There's a Sunday rodeo at 2 o'clock, the final performance on Sunday, again at 2 o'clock. So we'll be anxious to hear, Sam, what you see, what you think. But it sounds like if you're a bronc riding fan, you want to be there at 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it should be good.
Yeah.
It should be good.
Yeah, excellent. So let's shift gears yet again. Let's go to PBR teams. Of course, they opened up earlier this week at Cheyenne. The Carolina Cowboys has 2 wins, and that advanced them to the extra out section, which is to determine, and make sure I've got my language right here, Sam, but determine which team won the Cheyenne teams event. So it came down to the Carolina Cowboys and the Austin Gamblers. Of course, Gamblers put up Jose Vitor Lemmy, and the Cowboys put up Cooper Davis for a 1-bull ride-off. And Lemmy rode his bull, and Cooper Davis got bucked off. So the win went to the Austin Gamblers. What did you think of the 2 games that you saw the Carolina Cowboys play in?
I thought they did just kind of what we expected out of them. It's bull riding. Some guys rode that you thought might, and some guys didn't. And they are very stacked with talent that will carry them a long way. Let's put it that way. When Sage and Josh fell off the first round, but Daylon and Cooper stepped up. Well, the next round, Daylon bucked off and Sage stepped up. So they've got people to fill in the holes. They are, the depth is better than any other team in the league. But they still have to do their job, and it's not an easy job. The bulls bucked. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness,
Yep.
they just really bucked. And there was a young kid. He had what I think is one of the most ranked bulls in there, and he rode him dead easy. They call him Sticky.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he rode just outstanding. We'll just have to see if he can take the punishment these kind of bulls will put out there, because
Mm-hmm.
they will put punishment on you over the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
and it's
gotcha.
very exciting watching the newer young kids come in there. That Masson boy, they were so high on him, and he is an outstanding young man.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
really, really, he didn't ride good that weekend, but he's got the ability. I've seen him ride outstanding. So it's going to take time, and to watch these new young kids come up and where they'll be, it's really good.
In the first game, the Texas Rattler played the Carolina Cowboys. Of course, the Carolina Cowboys beat them. And then in the final game on the second night, Carolina Cowboys played the Arizona Ridge Riders, beat them as well. So they are at the top of the leaderboard standings with 2 wins, tied with the Austin Gamblers with 2 wins. Then you've got 2 teams, the Texas Rattlers and the Oklahoma Freedom, that won 1, lost 1, and then we've got 4 teams that have 2 losses. So early in the season, we want to check it out, or we want to watch it as she unfolds this year. So too early to tell just yet. But to your point, Sam, I think Carolina Cowboys, they are absolutely the team to watch. Another thing, the PBR rider winners, I got to look and this is all up on the PBR website. So my understanding is there's rider winnings based on how they place, and then there's PBR team winnings. And the Carolina Cowboys in total, the team over the 2 games, so 2 bulls apiece, basically, they walked out with about $40,000 in rider winnings. And then on top of that, you've got the PBR team winnings based on where they place. First place, Sam, paid $100,000 to the winning team in Cheyenne. And, of course, that was the Austin Gamblers. Second place paid $50,000, and that was the Carolina Cowboys. Big money yet again.
Yeah, the money is, and I think with this is only going to get bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how it all works and how they divvy it up and all that, but it just gets better every year.
Yep.
And it's very impressive when you can go there and ride for that kind of money. When the event winner, the MVP, whoever's total most points, gets an extra 10,000 this year per event, and that's quite an incentive. But I don't know how much these guys, and I know it varies from person to person what they're making, and then you can win this on top of it, and how it's divvied up, I don't understand it. And it may be separate from each team how they give it up, but that amount of money, it's just wonderful for the whole team concept. I'll tell you what, it may hurt rodeo to draw away these great bull riders to come over there, because when you can win that kind of money staying in one spot and not run up down the road, and some people love running up and down the road, don't get me wrong, it's not going to drag them all away, but it is like Creek Young. I was very surprised to see him there.
Okay.
He was probably in the draft and I forgot about it, but he's a guy that's made the NFR a few times and an outstanding bull rider, and now he's there. I think it'll drag the best bull riders in the world, and they are expanding to 2 more teams now, I hear.
Oh, they are. So going to 10 teams total.
10 teams total.
Oh, wow.
So they got 2 teams up for sale, and they don't even have what city they're going to be out of. I guess they have to pay so much money, plus they're going to look at what they send in and see where they're picking to go.
So does Rochester, New York have a PBR team yet, Sam?
Oh, not yet.
No, should they? Shouldn't they? I should say, shouldn't they?
Well, I,
Is that?
it's not going to be with my money
Oh,
because what
it's
they're
not.
asking for these teams,
Oh,
I
oh,
couldn't I couldn't buy the dirt. But
yeah,
you know, it'll be interesting to where they go
yeah,
because
yeah.
um, the cities. It's not like well, you look at hockey and the world is now diverse. It's
Hmm.
no, you got hockey in Florida and it's just a diverse scenario, and rodeo is no longer the Western
Right,
states.
right.
It's all over the country, and people like entertainment and people like teams. I mean, when you go to those teams live, you see the difference because now they got somebody to cheer for. It's not John
Yeah,
Smith out of Chute 2. It's the Arizona Ridge Rider,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
we're this is our guy, and he's
yeah,
poking people,
yeah.
and it's just great.
You
It's
bet.
just great.
You bet. I love the energy of it. And I know I may not have been the biggest proponent of it when they started talking about it, but boy, I will say after last year, you and I have talked on and off about this. It does connect you to, you've got your favorite bull rider. Let's say I go to watch Daylon, but in the team events, I'm watching Daylon for sure, but I'm also watching now Sage, and I'm watching Josh, and I'm watching Cooper Davis because they're on his team. So it's not, it changes the game where I want Daylon to win an individual event. Now I get to root for a bunch of guys, which really changes it quite a bit for me.
Yeah, you got five guys to root for right there
You
at
bet.
one time, and and I hear this all the time if I go out to dinner or lunch. Hear people saying, "Oh, how's your boy doing?
Yeah.
What's going on?" I say, "Oh, he's doing good." Well, we watch him. I got my DVR set to any PBR
Yep.
thing comes up.
Yep.
We get it, and it's because
Yep.
it's somebody they know. If
Absolutely.
they and these are people that wouldn't ever watch anything to do with rodeo if
Yep.
they didn't have a reason, and the reason is Daylon
Absolutely.
to because it gives them a connection, and that's where the difference between team and individual, it gives people from that city a connection,
You bet.
and
And talking about that connection, I'm going to go back to Kane Smith and a day with Daylon. I mean, my goodness, that ought to bring almost $1 million, Sam. What an opportunity here to go learn about the young man. PBR
well,
team schedule.
hold it, Doug. I got something to say to
Okay,
that.
what you got?
Well, Daylon, where's it going to be? Is he going to have him at the ranch working?
Yeah, you.
Drill this hole here.
Uh,
Keep going until I tell you you're done.
yeah, yeah. You may want to
Or,
bring your work gloves.
yeah, or
Oh, and no
uh,
matter what, it'll be great to hang out with him. What a neat prize. I'm going to be on the lookout for that. PBR team schedule, stuff coming up. Kansas City Outlaw Days, August 3rd to the 5th. Anaheim, the following weekend, the 12th and the 13th. And then Sam, Nashville Stampede Days, August 18th through the 20th. And I can't go by Nashville without saying they are the 2022 team champions. So I'll be interested in what that show looks like when we go there. Welcome back their champions. And I think we're going to try to get down there to that event. We've been able to get down there last couple years and watch in a great arena there. Are you thinking about possibly being able to make the trip to Nashville?
I'm very much thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I talked to Carrie's dad the other day, and he didn't give me an answer, but I'd love to go down there and watch it again.
You bet. You bet.
Had a great time this year, and so
Yeah.
last year, and
Yeah.
I'd love to do it again.
Good, good.
So,
And then Austin, Texas, August 25th through the 27th. I mean, these guys are somewhere every single weekend. The Gambler Days, 25th through the 27th. So lots going on. Check it out. Get your DVR set. if you can go live and check it out. Quite an event. And one of the predictions we had, Sam, that I asked you to make when we started our PBR stuff back in April was who's going to replace Flint Rasmussen as the rodeo entertainer of the PBR, and first team event, Brinson James.
Yeah, I still think they're going to keep trying somebody till they lock somebody in, but I think Brinson is probably the front runner.
Mm-hmm.
And don't know if what their thoughts are, but if they used him at Cheyenne, and Brinson, I'm sure, is booked, and Monday and Tuesday was pretty good for him, and they used him there, so it goes to show he is one of the front runners.
You bet. You bet. Absolutely. And we saw him in Calgary as well. What a great young man. And, of course, he learned from the best with his father, Hollywood Harris.
Yeah. And Brinson has taken it from Hollywood and just run. His energy level is second to none out there.
You bet.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about PBR Team Rule Changes. Just came out this week. I think it was the 25th they came out. A few things that kind of caught my notice. You've already spoke of it. MVP. Last year there was a year-end MVP championship that paid $50,000. This year that MVP for the season, for all the events combined, pays $100,000, so doubled up the money there. And you already mentioned it, and I think this is really, really neat and really, really cool. MVP for each event pays $10,000. And the first event MVP was Jose Vitor Lemi in Cheyenne, so he got that $10,000. So I'm a big fan of this money and where it's going. I think this is going to drive some pretty interesting results, and we're going to pay a lot more attention to it because we're going to be knowing who the MVP winner is of each event. So we're going to pay a little bit more attention to where everybody is in the standings.
Yeah, and I paid attention to it last year because Daylon was right there in the mix for the extra money.
Mm-hmm.
But for $10,000 an event now that's just a bonus over top of everything else. So
Yep.
what a great thing. Just more money. I don't know. I was talking with the guru, Mark Richmond. The other day.
Yeah.
And my friend out of Canada, and he was explaining a lot of things where they're just changing the money around, but it looks like it's heading the right direction.
You bet.
And that's how you learn. You do things, and it doesn't, to make it better, you just change it a little bit. You tweak it. And
you bet.
And this team thing will be tweaked for the rest of the time going.
You bet. You bet.
Just like the NFL changes rules, baseball made the big thing a 30-second thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're tweaking it to a new audience, I guess.
You bet.
Or an old audience that wants to watch it.
You bet. And to your point, increased prize money, payout money. And they're trying to build a greater emphasis on winning the regular season events. So we want to pay more money, they said. Let's make each event stand out just a little bit more. Certainly great to win the big money in Vegas come November, but right now increase the rider prize and payout money, to your point of shifting and increasing. So great economics the PBR's got going on here. And then, Sam, last year they had the bonus round that would determine who won an event. And refresh my memory, but I believe last year it was each team put up their guy, their rider, and whoever scored the highest or rode the longest won the bonus round, and that would determine who won the event. Correct?
Yes.
And this year, it's called Extra Outs. Can you explain that just a little bit?
Well, what they did this year is just took the top teams, whether it be 1, 2, or 3. It could be 3 teams didn't lose one, but they had the 2 this time. And they each picked a rider and picked the bulls. I don't know how they got to determine, I know the team coach would pick the riders. I get that. But I don't know who would determine what bull they got on. So does the team that has the most points coming into it pick first? Or is it a draw scenario of who to get on what bull they do? And personally, off the first one, because the Carolina Cowboys didn't win, I didn't like the concept.
Right.
But looking at it, I guess I understand you don't want everybody getting on and taking up more time, but it almost looks like to me, and I guess take this to the PBR and let them hash it around, but it almost would be like you'd almost want two guys, the team going in with the most points gets to pick what bull they want first, the team with the second pull, and the other two guys. So now you got four guys riding. The other two guys that second team gets to pick what bull they want first. Now it's not just on one person. You got two guys, and the total points of the aggregate would win.
Yeah.
That's what I think I'd like to see, but that's just a personal opinion, and maybe I'd have been different if the Carolina Cowboys would have won. Oh, this is a great idea. Well, I don't know who gets to pick the bull first and why, or if it's drawn.
I think it was too, as you described. I think I read somewhere, not 100% sure, but I think it's the highest aggregate got to pick first in the draw, or in the draft, if you will.
Okay.
I think so.
Therefore, I don't know why you'd leave I'm legit too for Jose.
Right.
You take him right off the block to start with, and Jose can ride anything and ride
then I might be wrong. Maybe it was highest score. I don't know, but I do know that Lemmy picked first. I did hear that.
Okay. Well, he was in that game. He was the only one to ride one. So the total aggregate, they rode 3 bulls. Carolina rode 4 bulls in their games, or 5. So they had a higher aggregate. So I'd like to see what their things are for picking first.
We'll do a little more research on that. We will find out. And what I'm understanding, Sam, if both of these guys would have come out and scored 90-point rides, or both of them would have bucked off, they would have had another round, extra outs. And it's my understanding they'll do that as many as 3 times to try to pick the winner of the event. So different than what it was last year for sure. And that would give you, Sam, to your point of wanting to see more riders from each team competing, that might be one way that you would see that.
Yeah, that's exactly how I understood it.
Okay.
Too.
Okay.
Just how you described it. If they both buck off, or if they tie, they go to another one, and then another one, and then after that, it's called a draw.
Yeah,
but
and I think it may fall back to aggregate points after 3 rides, whether they all tied.
Right.
I think.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, and you're correct.
Okay.
You're correct. That's what I did read. So it'll work the bugs out. I'm more curious on who gets to pick first and why.
Okay.
And because a lot of times, if you pick first, we see it all the time in the individual events. You got the best shot of winning it.
Yeah. We'll do a little research on that one.
Let's find out who gets to pick first.
Yeah. Okay. We'll find that out. And then the other thing that kind of caught my attention, one of the other rule changes was in-game roster substitutions. So what stood out for me was, let's say I'm the 5th person to ride. I'm the fifth rider. The team's already cinched the game. I'm a little sore, right? In the past, last year, we saw, get on with it. You're going to still get on your bull. My understanding is I can be substituted out by my coach. Another Cowboy gets on that bull. Is that your understanding as well?
Yes, it is. And I really like this change. And not so much for if you're sore, and yes, for that too, but it's like putting a young quarterback in when you got the game 48-0, or you're winning 48-0 or losing 48-0. You want to give these young kids some experience at that level, and it be on the same token. So I think it's a very wise decision. I like it. I really like it.
Okay. All right. Excellent. And then this one, I was a bit confused when I saw this. Advanced bull riding training so it's prohibited. Advanced bull riding prohibited. And when I read this, it says these teams know in advance what bulls has been drawn for their team. They're going to figure out which Cowboy will pair up with which bull. They get to do that. However, they're saying, and you don't get to practice on that bull prior to coming to the event. I hadn't thought about this, Sam. Is this a thing?
Well, it must be, or they didn't put the rule in there. That's how rules are made. You figure out, and that's the way competition is. You'll learn how to win,
right?
Or try to get the best advantage you can out of it. It had to happen, or it wouldn't be in there. So,
okay. Okay, so they have access. Okay, so some of them.
I got my thoughts, and we'll just leave it there.
You don't want to put them out in the world. You don't want to. You want to do that? I better move on. It sounds like.
I don't know. I don't know, but I know who would have had the opportunities to do that.
I see. Okay,
and it could be anybody because it is a tight knit community.
Yeah, for sure.
It could be anybody.
Yeah,
you could have your friend that's got bulls there. Hey, I got your bull next week. Can I come over and get on him? And that would be possible. So I should just stay there.
Okay. Well, you've always been a proponent of practicing perfect. I don't know any better way to practice perfect than put me on the bull I'm going to get on this next week.
Amen. That's just trying to win.
Yeah.
And you can't hold that against them.
No.
Because there was no rule against it, so now there is. But you're just trying to win. And hey, whatever it takes. Sometimes.
Whatever it takes. Absolutely. We talked about the money, the MVP money, the rider money, the team money, big money. So, let's give it everything we got. The other thing, there were some changes in judging, timing, coaches' challenges. Sam, I understand on every coach has one challenge per team event, per game. And it's my understanding if I throw my challenge out, let's say it's on the second bull, I'm going to say I think he was fouled. I'm going to throw out my challenge. If it comes back and goes, yep, he was fouled, he gets a rewrite, I get my challenge back. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. New rule, and we saw this a bit last year, fifth ride of the game, I'm going to throw out my challenge because what have I got to lose? I'm not going to use it anywhere else. I still have it. What if there was some possibility either of if it's my guy getting a re-ride or some possibility that the competitor touched the bull or disqualified himself in some way. My understanding, you can still do that if you have a challenge left, but if you are wrong, it's going to cost you $1,500.
Yeah, and I like this because, we watched some stuff that had no merit at all last year. Okay, well, what I got to lose, maybe he sneezed out there.
Yeah.
So they threw it out, and we watched it, play it back, and it made no sense. Now, I didn't know this and it was probably in effect this weekend. And still, Ross Coleman, he sat there like, well, you're going to make that rule. I'm going to pay the $1,500. It looked like to me after I didn't know that rule was in there. It was like, okay, just throw it out there. But he didn't have a shot of winning, but he threw it out anyway. And, yeah, it's good because it takes up time that doesn't need to be wasted.
Yep.
And,
yep.
I like it. It might, these team owners, $1,500. Well, that's like a quarter to you and I.
Right.
So
right.
Will they raise it to 15,000 at some point?
Probably.
I'm being serious.
Yeah, probably.
You know how rules are, and it costs you a quarter. Well, what the heck? That don't matter. Will they raise it to 100,000 if it gets carried away? And because they're trying to do a show for the people and TV, and at that point, you have to be on a schedule.
Yep. Yep.
That's why they don't give them 5 flags for every guy, and that's why the NFL only gives them 2, and they're done.
Right.
So
right.
It's all about timing, and we can say what we want about for the bull riders and bull riders. It's all about the people in the stands and the people watching TV to keep them coming back again.
Yep.
Bottom line.
Yep. Absolutely right. No, I was a fan of I think I'm good with these rules. I think it's going to improve the game quite a bit. And anytime you add money and you come away with definite winners of each event, that's just one more way, as you said, to connect everything. So I want you to make a prediction. I'm looking at the top 6 in the MVP season standings. And right now, currently, just top 6, okay? Right now, currently, there are 3 Carolina Cowboys in the top 6. So what's your prediction? Let's go next game. After next game, how many Carolina Cowboys? More than 3, equal to 3, less than 3 after next week's game, Kansas City. How many Cowboys, now let me get this right, in the top 6 in the MVP standings will be Carolina Cowboys?
Okay, I will say it'll stay 3.
Stay 3.
Very good possibility it'll be a different 3.
Really? Okay.
Now, is there, if the next one, is there 2 or 3 games? Do you know?
Oh, great question. Let me go back to my schedule here. August 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Yeah, I'll bet there's 3 games.
3 games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, so there'll still be 3 in there, but it may be, and I'll throw it out there, it'll be a different 3.
Okay.
But we'll see where it goes because they have so much talent.
You bet.
Any one of them could come on there and do great things.
Right now, 50% of the top 6 are Carolina Cowboys. Pretty darn cool. And Jose Vitor Lemmy's 1 bull ahead of Cooper Davis right now, just for keeping score and watching this as we go through. So let's come back local, Sam. Let's come back to New York. We've catch us up on. We know Raymond, Eli, and Kaul are all going. Kaul are all going to be at Attica on Saturday afternoon here in a couple weeks. What's going on with these Cowboys? What do you know?
Raymond last weekend, I think he won first everywhere he went.
Oh, wow.
He sent me some videos. He didn't go a lot, but still do as good as you can. You can't do any better than first. That's what I keep telling them. Get there to what first is. And Eli, he had a good week. 2 weeks ago, he was very kind of like, what the heck's going on? I can't do anything. And we discussed a little stuff, and he's going to a rodeo every day this week. He called me yesterday, and he won the bronc ride and didn't do any good in the steer wrestling, but he's doing well.
Yeah.
he's riding broncs good, and he said he had a good ride. And for him to say he had a good ride, it must have been good, because he doesn't say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So saddles feeling better, everything like that. Got some adjustments made. It sounds like.
It sounds that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it used to be when they were right there and I could tune with them.
Right. Right.
But and say, this is going wrong. Let's put you on this horse.
Yeah.
Because I'll be able to tell better.
Yeah.
And now he's out there, and it's just a phone call, and this is happening and that's happening.
Yeah.
And we got to analyze it and try to figure it out and go from there. And
okay.
Whatever he did, it seems to be working.
Good. Excellent.
And on a hot streak.
He's on a hot streak, absolutely. So we're going to watch. Yeah, let's pay attention to what these guys do. So Eli, how does being in the steer wrestling influence, whatever you want to say, his bronc riding, Sam?
I don't know as it does too much.
No,
it's just another event, and in rodeo, it's not where it crosses over,
mm-hmm.
like bareback riding and bull riding, I think, cross over a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But steer wrestling, bronc riding, I think the only thing that crosses over is mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And if you did good in one and you're up and ready to go,
mm-hmm.
If you did bad in one, and then does that drag you down,
mm-hmm.
or does that push you to get mad and tear into it?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think that's probably the only crossover.
Okay. Well, and that's interesting. I think we want to watch that. And if you have a conversation with Eli, ask him, because he's just started to steer wrestle over this last year.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And I'm just wondering how that changes his approach, changes his mental attitude, or the mental mind game, right, of rodeo. So if you wouldn't mind, would you do that for us?
I will. And I know he's been talking to Colton about steer wrestling.
Okay.
And, always Colton, I don't know what all he said, but he said, just make sure you think you can win when you're back in there.
I see.
Or know you're going to win.
Yeah.
And he's really must be working on his mental game.
Yep.
And
yep.
both mental and mental.
Yeah.
Because steer wrestling is a lot of physicalness to it.
You bet.
Also, technique. Technique's good, it can carry you a long way. But physical, having that little extra oomph, power there, makes a difference.
You bet.
Yeah.
So speaking of Colton, what's the update? We can't have a podcast without asking about Colton, and you tell us what's going on.
Well, Colton's on the road, just living a dream and going places that you wouldn't have thought of 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He was at Days of 76 yesterday.
Okay.
Sent me a video. So glad he finally sent me a video of his run. He was 5 flat on his first one.
Yeah.
And then his second one, he was 4-1.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know. I think he's placing the average right now, but there again, there's probably 100 and some guys there, and it goes through till Sunday. So we'll see where he ends up. But it is playing the game and trying to be in the hunt, which he's there, and so proud that he's getting the opportunity to stay out there and learn it. This is educational right now. In my mind,
going to school.
It's you're going to school, and I relate it to the wrestling. The first month of wrestling sucks because you don't get to go compete and tear into somebody. Right now he's going to school and learning how to get better and what to do to compete to get to the level he wants to be at.
You bet. And to that point, I mean, talk about going to school and the different curriculum. I mean, you've already said it, the mental aspect of the game, backing in the box, knowing you're going to win. The physical aspect, what kind of condition? What is steer wrestling condition? What's that look like, right? Then you got the technique on top of all that. Then you've got the business. You've got the logistics. Which rodeo? What do I draw into? What do I draw out of? And then just life on the road. And he's been gone for over a month, Sam, and out on the road full time. Yes?
Yes, and you just made me tired, just what you said. Well, every bit of it is so true.
Yeah.
And the other thing that you left out that's very difficult is eating healthy.
Eating healthy, absolutely. Yes, yes.
You're going to a restaurant, is it fast food all the time? Are you on such a roll you can't sit down and have a nice salmon meal?
Yeah.
Eating healthy is another part of it. But yeah, education's expensive, and he's in school right now.
Okay.
It's tough out there, and the business side of it may be the hardest because you don't have control over what you can say. You want to go to this and this, but all of a sudden, well, you didn't get up right. Now you've got change. Now you got to change your plan, and you got to look at it a different level. Avenue, and how can we go to get in the most rodeos and the best rodeos? So that's the tough part.
And how is he doing on the road? I mean, man, away from home. I know he's got horses. He's got to be thinking about it, the house, other things going on. But how's he just doing on the day-to-day, just being out on the road, being away?
I don't know.
Okay.
I talked about that with Carrie the other day. Said, I'd love to just go somewhere. Daylon we can watch on TV. But Colton, a lot of times we can't. And I said, I'm sure he's missing his mom. He's been out there quite a bit. And she said, I don't know if he's missing his mom. I said, well, I'm sure he's missing a good meal with mom and dad.
Absolutely.
Sit down and have a good meal.
Yeah.
But he doesn't talk much about it. He's living what he wants to live, so I think he's enjoying it. But he doesn't. Daylon would call a lot more often than Colton, and tell us what was going on. He was more lonely out there than Colton because Daylon was by himself a lot.
Yeah.
And Colton's got his 4 guys, and he's probably got his job he has to do and take care of, and that's that.
Yeah. And hotels, truck, how these guys live, day in and day out? Because they're not rodeoing every day, but they're out every night. So do you know hotels, trailer, living quarters? What is the setup? Yeah.
I'm sure it's trailers and living quarters because he changed right at the last minute, and I don't even know the guys he's with. I know a couple of them, but not all of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's 90% of the time is in the living quarters trailer, and I would say probably a fair thing is 75% of the time they're at a rodeo every day.
Yeah. Okay.
So, maybe 1 or 2 days a week they're not competing. But,
okay.
They're competing somewhere almost every day.
You bet. And then we had talked a few episodes ago. We talked a lot about Daylon, where he'd been, what he had done, and we said we wanted to talk a little bit about Colton. And what a lot of folks may or may not know about Colton, he went in the rodeo arena as an entertainer pretty darn early. Pretty young, I should say.
Yeah, Colton, he wanted to be in every aspect of rodeo. He loved everything about it. Still does, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. If some of his friends are competing in the rough stock events, you'll see him down around the chutes.
Mm-hmm.
But he enjoyed every aspect of it. Did dress acts for rodeos. Worked with Hollywood Harris and Brinson James, and they were both kids. They had a little act that they went out and did, and it was good. Kids sell. Mm-hmm. If you put kids out in front of a crowd that are talented, they sell, and I went with that as long as I could.
Yeah.
And it paid off. It was good. Now look at where they are.
You bet.
Brinson being one of the best entertainers there is out there, arguably the best at this point. So,
yeah. So do you think, and I've said all along, Sam, that Colton would make a great rodeo announcer. Do you think at some point he heads back into, 10 years, 15 years, however many years down the road, you think he stays involved in rodeo and gets back into the entertainment side? I mean, you look at his aunt, Loretta, and his mom, Carrie, trick riders, entertainers. Do you think he goes back into that side of the business?
I don't have a clue. I've thought about this, and he's got a great knowledge of it.
Mm-hmm.
He knows enough to look around and see something isn't right. He'd be a great announcer. And you heard him do his announcing spiel, but wouldn't do it at all. Even trying to get him to do it at special kids rodeo and stuff, couldn't get him to do it. Carrie and I tried to push him to auctioneering because he did that very well. But not an interest, and just ran away from it. Okay. So if I say yes, I think he will be involved in the rodeo industry somehow later on in life. Whether it be on the stock end, either timed event or rough stock, I think he enjoys it. I think he'll be involved. I don't know where. He really enjoys training horses also. I could see him going that avenue when things are done. But, you can, like Daylon's a lot more cut and dried. He likes his bucking bulls and he likes his beef cattle.
Right.
You kind of know where he's headed. Colton, it's all over the map. And he could be great at anything he really wants to do, because if you got a passion for it, you'll be good at it.
Yep. And as he continues his education, his rodeo education, we'll see if he where it all takes us, or it takes him. And want to remind our listeners, you can find him on. You said the Spirit of '76. That's on the Cowboy channel, right, Sam? You can go watch his performances online.
Well, I don't know, because he was in the Slack.
Oh, he was in the Slack. Okay. Okay.
So, and just for, Colton sent me the video, and then a friend of mine was out there, and he said, "Oh, look who I got to see today." And he sent me, and I thought they were at Cheyenne, because everybody goes to Cheyenne. I thought they seen Daylon, but he sent me Colton's video.
Oh, that's so cool.
He got to visit with him, and I said, "Oh, good," because I bet he's a little homesick.
Yeah.
He said, "Didn't seem too bad, but maybe he's not. Maybe it's the best thing. Get away from Dad."
Yeah. Well, it's hard to believe, Sam, but was it 2 years ago we had on a Sunday morning, you, Carrie, Colton, Laura, and myself, we sat down and had breakfast together at Cheyenne 2 years ago already.
Yep, it was 2 years ago. We need to fix this stuff and not let it be 2 years between.
I know. There we go. All right. So anything else we haven't talked about, Sam? We can switch more gears.
I think we covered a lot.
We did cover a lot, and we shouldn't take, go so long in between our updates, because there's a lot going on in the world, especially with this teams kicking off. I think we may want to talk a little bit more about who's on the team, the rosters, and all that sort of thing in the future. But I hope you have a good day, Sam. Be safe. Stay dry. We got rain here in New Hampshire. How's the weather where you are?
We had a little rain this morning. About 4 o'clock, I heard it raining, and now it looks nice out there. I haven't been out this morning, but it's time to get out there. But it looks nice, and beautiful weather, actually. Beautiful.
Good. Good. That'll grow you some hay.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. All right. We hope that you enjoy our podcasts as much as we enjoy doing it. If you do, please share it with your friends. Share it on Facebook. Post it up. Get it out in the world. Help somebody find it on their phone. Help them follow it. We've got a brand new website. Just went up. It's called BeyondTheChutes.show. Ben Simcox, he put a great website together. You got to go check it out. It fits on your phone. Everything looks perfect. And And to make your listening easier, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Just search for Beyond the Chutes and follow us. Remember to check out the New York State Rodeo Museum group page and become a member. We want to say thank you again to ParaSight Systems for their support with our podcast. ParaSight System is a push-button parasitic diagnostic system for pasture animals, horses, cattle, goat, sheep, chickens, and for your companion animals, dogs and cats. You can find them at ParasightSystems.com. This is Beyond the Chute. Until next time, this is Doug Simcox and Sam Swearingen saying thank you for listening.